The whole ball of wax at LawnPreneurAcademy.com is a $4,000 value, and it's yours for only $1,499. But when you apply the code SPRINGRUSH at checkout, all one word, Spring Rush, we will take another $300 off. That's $4,000 of resources for less than $1,200. This special discount ends April 30th.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. All right, guys. Well, today's podcast episode, a little case study here. I've got some contracts in my hand that I wanted to talk about really quick, sharpening the pencil. I think I might title the podcast this because it's been something on my mind for about a week now. And one of the questions I get the most, and I say that a lot, but typically these are the FAQs, right? How to get new customers, what's the best mower to buy, little this, little that. One of them is always, hey, how do you get new commercial accounts? And then the 1-2 punch for commercial accounts is I seem to keep getting outbid or underbid, or people don't get back with me, right? So what I wanted to do is talk to you about two different clients here. These are just real life, practical, real-time case studies about how we were able to secure the bag on $24,000, $11,500, $81,445, the $24,845. Okay, so that's $25,000, $26,000, $25,000, $35,000, $36,000, and then another $8,000. So is that $46,000? So I'm holding, I don't know, whatever, dude. $46,000 worth of contracts here. Who cares? It's not here to impress. It's just a number, okay, folks? So here's what I wanted to do, though. We did not initially get these two contracts. One is one account, one's 25 grand. The other one is another company with two sites. And so initially, I did not get any of this work. Now, here's a quick tip. Would $46,000 change your business? Probably. Would $46,000 change your family's income? Probably. Of course, you're only going to make a third of this true net profit, whatever. But if, I don't know, what's 46,000? I got my phone here, divided by 3. It's $15,000. Would this work change you, your guys' schedule, your bottom line, 15 grand into your family's, lifestyle and income for the year? Yeah, I'd say so. This is something that we wanted to earn, we wanted to bid, and we wanted to get. So what I want to do is talk about how we went from not getting this work to getting the work. And I got a couple things that I wrote down. Number 1, budget. Number 2, follow-up. Number 3, apples to apples. Okay, because I think that's what I can do to help you guys with some of the sticking points when we're shifting gears to trying to get work, right? Like sometimes when you're going through the motions of submitting work, like these black holes come out of nowhere where the conversation just stops, or you don't get the work and then you never get a follow-up, or you never get a reason why. Let me help you with that, which I got some great power lines, some great power phrases, some power moves to help you guys to get unstuck and to connect the dots about why people aren't getting back with you, or how do we keep the conversation going when maybe you aren't the best price bidder. Okay. So we'll just have a little open mic therapy session here. I just want to go through this stuff real time for you guys. Hopefully this helps you out. I mean, you guys know the mantra here for 2023 for Fullerton Unfiltered podcast is real authentic lawn care. Okay. This is stuff that we're literally doing. This right here, like I said, 46 grand. We did 285 last year. So divided by 46,000, that would be because I can't do mental math, 46 divided by 285. What is this? This is a 16% growth right off the rip with just these 3 pieces of paper that I'm holding into my hand. So if you want to have 16% business growth, by the way, the 2 clients, or the 2 contracts I have here that are for one account, it'll easily be another 8 grand and 10 grand for snow and salt. Okay, so really, when you add this all up and you double the first 2 contracts for, an annual seasonal contract, we're talking 46, 56, 66,000, 65,000. Let's say conservatively $60,000 worth of new work. So 60 into 280, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. That's a 25% growth in our company with, these 2 clients in 3 sites total. Okay. So I'm not here to impress you guys. I'm just here to give you guys real life practical conversation about how we can help you guys out. All right, so let's do this really quick. Stick with me. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements. I'm actually crushing a Tim Hortons coffee this morning. It's been a minute since I've got the Timmy Hose. I used to be on this habit and binge of taking my dog Teddy, who's a Pomsky. A lot of people ask what kind of dog we have. He's a half Husky, half Pomeranian. Don't ask logistics here. We think there was a stool involved. But he's a Pomsky dog. He's about 28 pounds of floof, 100% a-hole. He is awesome. He's just like his parents. And so just having fun. But I was in this mode of every Sunday, we have family day. We go get coffees and donuts. And that was something that Liz and I really enjoyed having. And just, it was like our little trip. I take Teddy down to a Tim Hortons about 3 miles down the road. And that was our shtick. Anyway, we haven't had Tim Hortons in like Timbits for like, dude, a year and a half, ever since we had Peanut, my little daughter, Emmy. And anyway, we got some Timmy Hose this morning, and I'm like, my gosh, where has this been? Why have we not been to Tim Hortons in like a year, even though we were having it like every weekend for a year or so? It's just funny. So anyway, I'm going to get a quick sip of my Tim Hortons regular roast, dark roast maybe. It's a 3-4, 3 cream, 4 sugar, in case you guys care, and then the honey dip 10 Timbits. Okay, so that's the MO that I'm working with today. And we're going to talk about breaking down these contracts. I'm going to try to do short and sweet, just kind of get into it, and I'll give you guys some real line-by-line item, what we did with the commercial contract, and how we were able to snag these accounts. Okay? All right, let's hang tight, and we will be right on back.
We've got the goods. If you're looking for one place to find all the gear, you need to jump on Ballard-Inc.com. With over 30 years in the industry and 23 years selling high-quality products, we've got your back. From mower gear, trailer racks, mower blades, safety gear, and so much more, you'll find everything you need to maximize your efforts and protect your gear in one place. And let's not forget about the new Carbide Tungsten Gold blades that'll have you wondering why it took so long to get these to market. Make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. We've got a bunch of new gear coming soon, so make sure you're following Brian and Ballard to stay in the loop. Head over to Ballard-Inc.com today and get geared up.
All right, guys, so let's jump into it here. I'm going to do the HOA quote for the contract and show you guys where we came in initially and then where we are at now, and show you guys kind of like how we were able to trim a little bit of the fat out of the contract and just the conversation, how it went, okay? Like, it's always nice hearing what people do to actually get the work, like the conversation, how it went. It's almost like listening to like a live sales call or training call, something like that. Well, you don't really get a lot of that out there in the lawn care landscaping world. It's kind of weird, I guess, in general, but let alone it'd be even more weirder in the lawn care industry, I guess. But nonetheless, let's get into it. By the way, quick selfish plug, which isn't selfish. It's really for you guys. If you guys need a commercial contract, go to lawnpreneuracademy.com/store. You can get a commercial contract template for $49. It is the #1 selling course and resource or document, whatever you want to call, with our training website, which is lawnpreneuracademy.com. Helps you out with all things lawn care landscaping. You guys are picking up the postcards, the rate adjustment letters, the commercial contract, the residential contract. There's a bundle, by the way, which you can get the residential contract and the commercial contract for like 15 or 20% off. So check the bundle first before maybe buy the resource individually. It's a downloadable, editable document. Download to your desktop computer. I've had some people like, hey, I can't get it to open up on my iPhone. I'm like, listen, bro, it's a computer. You sit down and you edit it on a word processor called Pages or Word or Google Docs. Like, you're an adult, you're a business owner. Get off your phone, get on your computer. That's where 80-90% of your bids and work should be going, not on your iPhone and your iPad, okay? That's what you watch YouTube videos on and Instagram. It's not what you do professional documentation and work and subcontractor agreements and bids and proposals, okay? It's called email. You're allowed to use email, okay? Be a little bit of a butt, but it's not that complicated. But people are like, I can't download it on my iPhone. I go, get off your phone. Get on your computer. Like, sit down. Stay focused. Go in a quiet room. Like, get into a corner. And that's when you start grinding out business. It's not just flipping on, Instagram, okay? So that being said, let's go through the contract here. If you guys have one in front of you, if you've ever seen it, it's got your name, the contact info for the account, and then ours is scheduled A through I. We've got seasonal maintenance, weeding of beds and landscaping, mulch installation, spring cleanup, fall cleanup, flower install, fertilizer, irrigation, startup irrigation, winterization. By the way, this is just A through I. You can add JKLMNOPQRS TUV. Okay, I'm just kidding. But you can add hedge pruning, seasonal pruning, pine straw installation, fall, flowers with mums. You can do burlapping. You can do landscape fertilization. You can add, my gosh, the list of services, dethatching, aerations, like anything that you want to this list. The residential version is totally different than the commercial contract. Very similar, but also very different. But this is like a standard commercial template and contract that we use. Okay, so you can do holiday lighting, right? You can add a holiday lighting in here. That's becoming a really popular addition to. So really quickly, the first round of this HOA that I was bidding, it was like, so I actually started with the first conversation. They said, "Hey, you do the snow here. Would you guys be interested in the lawn landscaping?" And I said, "Maybe." I said, "You guys are actually kind of a little out of my route," but I said I wouldn't be opposed to it. But it depends. I'm like, what are we talking here? And so here's one of my go-to lines. You guys have heard me say it before, but if you're not saying this will save you a lot of time and energy and frustration. What is the budget? Hey, what is the account worth? Hey, what was the last guy doing? What did you like the last guy? Why are you not renewing with the last guy? These are here's one of the lines I say, "Let me show you my hand." And that's a line which is salesy without selling, but it's selling, but it's not selling. And frankly, if people are like, "Well, that's just a sales line." Well, sure, dude, but I'm tired. I'm exhausted from just life. Everybody's exhausted all the time. I'm like, "Listen, bro, I'm not here to just play tit for tat and go around in dances and go around in circles trying to figure this stuff out. You have a need. I have a business. I'm here to fulfill that need and make profit. And you want to hire somebody to get rid of this headache. Can we just literally level as human beings? You have this massive HOA and acreage or commercial site and you just need it maintained. I have a business. If we can come to a number that makes sense for you and makes sense for me, can we both just solve problems? I get to run my business, make more revenue, make more money, hopefully, and then you get to take care of the property and make the people that you report back to either the HOA, the 100 homes in there, the 50 homes, the 500 homes in there, or your boss and the higher ups and the management, and make them look good and everybody looks good because the site's maintained, whatever, right? So one quick tip, and I'm not telling that, any one person this, but maybe don't be so fancy. Maybe don't be so fancy out there with, this you're trying to get them, or you're trying to not say the wrong thing, or you're trying to say the right thing. If you just say, "Hey, Tom, my company would love to take a crack at it just so we're on the same page to see if it actually kind of makes sense for our portfolio. Can you give me the budget of what you guys are working for? That way I can start with some numbers." Because here's why. I don't want to start at $5,000, $10,000. One, I don't want to be totally out in left field. So this is a little bit of a selfish inquiry, and you're allowed to have your own mutual or your own best interest in mind. Of course, that's what you're doing with your business. You say, "Hey, where are you guys at? What are you guys looking for? Just level with me. What happened with the last guy?" And you just go from being a contractor to being a human being and having a relatable conversation. Okay. So they say, "Hey, the budget last year was between $20,000 and $30,000. Give me some ranges. You don't have to give me the exact number." "Okay, cool. At least I know what I'm working with." And then what happened with the last guy? "Well, we're a newer HOA. We've been around for, 8 years. We've had a literally new lawn guy and a snow guy every year for 8 years." Okay. So let's write that down. That's a hot button. Hot button. Remember that thought. Hot button. What's some things that bother these people? This guy's frustrated. In 8 years, he's lived there as a homeowner, right? Just randomly probably got elected to the board. He's like, "Sure, I'll do it." And every 6 months, he's got to go and get 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bids, answer to 40, 50, 80, 200 people that are, his constituents, like a little political office here. He hates it. He's frustrated. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. He's got a dog. He's got, home stuff he's got to take care of. He does not want to be doing this every day or every 6 months or every year or every 2 years or every 3 years. I wouldn't, neither would you, right? So just think about the humanity, the human element to talking to humans. They don't want to be doing this. And so you can say, "Hey, I understand that you're frustrated with people that you've had in the past. What are you looking for?" "We're looking for one company to do it all. somebody that's reliable, somebody that we can trust. We don't mind paying good money for people to do good work. Okay. So on that budget of 20 to 30,000, they don't mind paying the maybe 25 to 30 grand range. So I can be a little bit more above average. I can be a little bit more boutique. I can get a little bit better pricing. And how do we convince that or convey that? Hey, no problem. My company, we're hungry for it. We're here to please. We want to make your headaches go away. We want this to be a stress-free summer for you. Here's my philosophy in business. We call you once in March or April. We catch up, make sure things are good. We sign off on the next 6-month contract. And then my goal is that no news is good news. For you to not receive a single phone call from me and me to not receive a single phone call from you. Because if I get a phone call from you, that means I'm not doing my job. In Fullerton, you say this? Yeah, this is what I say. I say, I shouldn't have to call you until the end of Halloween and say, hey, thanks for a great season. Cleanup is next week after the contract is over. That's it. By the way, where are you guys at on snow? Now, naturally, we probably talk to them about snow in August or September or October. You guys get the gist. But the point is, it shouldn't be anything that if I hired a contractor, I don't want to talk to you. I don't solve the problem, bro. That's why I hired you. That's why we hired a GC to build our home. Of course, we're going to look over everybody's shoulder. That's what you do when you're dropping, a bag on a home or even a bag on a landscape job. It's okay to snoop and just, look around and ask questions. But you guys get the point. That's why I hired you. You're getting the fee, so I don't have to deal with the problems. Okay. A lot of words just to say, let's go back to the contract. What's the budget? And so anyway, what are you guys looking for? Typically, this is a big part. And it's shocking to me still how few people, companies, places, whatever, have any clue what they're looking for. So it's called an RFP, Request for Proposal. And this is where I think a lot of you guys are losing work, is because you're taking my contract or your contract or anybody's contract, doesn't matter, irrelevant of the contract, but you're submitting a proposal, and that proposal is not fair. It's not, the conversation is not fair. You're getting sniped because it's not apples to apples compared to what the other guys are turning in. Let me give you, for instance, a request for a proposal is like the scope of work. Hey, we got this commercial site. We want 26 cuts. We want weekly pruning. We want the mulch done. Basically our contract is a RFP. You could literally send this in. If a company or an HOA or somebody doesn't have an RFP, you say, hey, do you guys have an RFP? They go, no, or what's that? You say, well, it's like a scope of work. That way I can submit, and then you guys can look at our proposal, apples to apples, to what other people's proposal is. Okay, and so that company, that HOA, would send out an RFP to 2, 3, 4, 5 contractors, and they'd all fill out the same, 1-page or 20-page RFP and then submit it back in. Then that way the facility manager or the HOA manager or the office manager, the executive vice president, the CFO, whoever it is that handles the decision maker, you guys heard me say this before, the decision maker then looks at it all and says, okay, 21 grand, let's say the account's, on this RFP, there's the low end guy, he's got 21, there's a 23, there's a 26, there's a 28, and there's a 32. So typically the guy's going to just cut off the ends, right? Lop the ends. He doesn't want the lowest guy because he's the low bidder. He doesn't want the highest guy. So then you're somewhere in the middle, and then that's where the selling and the schmoozing and the caressing and the jiggling of the that's where that all comes into play. Okay, but how do you know where to start if you don't have a budget, other than submitting what you know is your rates, which your rates have to coincide with the budget, and their budget needs to coincide with your rates is probably a better way to say it. And we had some of that here in one of the contracts that we're talking about, okay? So a lot of you guys are probably losing a lot of work out there because you're like, hey, we'll do 20, I'll give you a quick, for instance, in my proposal, we were able to shave the account from 27,850-ish down to 24,845. So it's a shaving of, I don't know, $2,500, let's say, because we kind of came in on the top end of this account. And the guy comes back and he emails me, he goes, hey, is there anything that you can do? You're a little bit on the top end. We have another company that's also right next to you. They're on the top end. They're actually more than you. But if you came in a little bit less than that, we could probably have an easier conversation with the board to be able to give you the account. And I said, my price is the price because that's what the work costs, but I'm willing to do less work at the same price, right? What I'm trying to say is I'm willing to adjust the amount of work we do so the price comes down. But the work that I am going to do, I need to earn the same amount. So let me give you an example. Like if we're installing mulch for $125 a yard for commercial mulch install, I'm not going to drop it down to $110. Now you can, and you know what? Frankly, there's times when you could do that. But if they want the price to come down by $2,500, and let's say we bid at 40 yards of mulch, that's $5,000, and you want me to drop the price $2,500 somewhere, and we find that maybe the mulch price is where we have some wiggle room to shave and sharpen the pencil on, no problem. It doesn't mean I give you 40 yards of mulch for $2,500 and we cut $2,500 out of the budget. It means, no, now you get access to 20 yards of mulch. 20 yards of mulch, $2,500, 40 yards of mulch, $5,000. You want me to shave $2,500 out of the contract? No problem. A couple areas of the HOA or the commercial site will just not tag up with mulch. Where are the low visible areas? Where are the low foot traffic areas? Where are the parts that we did last year where we don't really need to revisit again this year? But hey, we want to keep the high foot traffic or the view and impressionable areas. Maybe it's by a roadside or where the customers visit or the customers park, right? Like so on and so forth. So we can always make the project and the price and the proposal work, but we're not going to bring down the price of the contract for less work, right? Like, does that make sense? Like, or for the same amount of work or more work. Okay, so it's got to be proportional. So I'll give you a quick, for instance, and this is another easy one, like low-hanging fruit. When you guys, that's why an RFP is so critical, even though when companies don't have it. If you're losing work, it's probably because that person doesn't have an RFP. If you have an RFP and you're apples to apples and you guys are running competitive rates, like you should probably get most of that work, okay? Especially if you can build relationship and level with people and just, be honest and have a fun, upbeat conversation. But what happens is a lot of times there's no RFP, so you don't know what to bid on. So really simple one, like you're turning in a commercial contract and you're like, hey, we're going to cut 29 weeks at $300 a week for the site, whatever. And then somebody else turns in the contract and they bid it for 25 weeks. Well, that's just one line item, right? Like $300 times 5 weeks is $1,500 in difference in your proposal. Let's say your count comes in you're at 23.5 and the other guy's at 22. You're like, the guy's like, well, this one's 22, this one's 23.5. And I know you would think, well, hey, if they have a brain cell, they've looked at the proposal and they understand like it's not already apples to oranges, apples or apples to oranges. We're like on the first line item and there's a $1,500 discrepancy there. Like, of course, the person that's making the decision is going to go through every line item and figure that out, right? No, they are not. This is my big point. You have to stop the conversation, press the brakes. And this is why when you turn in something and you say, hey, if you have any questions, give me a call, give me a shout. Before you sign anything, let me know. I want to help you. I want to be an advisor to you. I want to make sure you guys you had these 8 things that you wanted or these 3 or 4 things that you wanted done. I will help you get there. I will help you solve them at the industry rate, the competitive rate, and a profitable rate for me and a quality price for you. Okay. But right there, like you would think people are going to look at these contracts, apples to apples. They are not. They did not notice that you wrote 29 weeks and the other guy wrote 25 weeks. They did not notice. Let me go down to, and I'm just going to use mine. Mine's a good example, but you could have this issue with any proposal, obviously. Landscaping jobs as well. Weeding the beds and boulevard. Somebody else says, we hand pull weeds 2 hours a month for your 20 yards of commercial beds, whatever, okay? You do 2 hours of pruning at $75. That's $150 a month, which isn't a lot of weeding, obviously, but 150 times 6 months is what, $900? And the other guy says, I'm going to smoke that bed with Roundup, once a month for $50. Okay? Not apples to apples. But they see $50, get nuked out with Roundup times 6 months. What is that? $300. So you're at $900 for hand pulling weeds 2 hours a month. They're at $300 nuking it out. So let's say it was a line item to line item for weeding and bed maintenance. There's a $600 cost difference. $600 plus the first line item, which was the 25 weeks of mowing versus the 29 weeks of mowing. $1,500 plus $600. What are we at? $2,100 if my numbers are kind of right. Stick with me. And so your price is at 23.5. We said theirs was at 22. Well, really theirs is at 21. Oh man, shouldn't have done this out loud. Let's just say 21, 21.4. 21.4 versus 23.5. We haven't even gotten to mulch and cleanups, right? But they're already beating you out by $2,100. And you're like, I don't know why I'm not getting the job. Well, because it's not apples to apples. It's not fair to you. And so how do you keep it fair? You keep the conversation alive. You say, hey, before you sign on anything, let's talk apples to apples. Literally, this is what you say. Let's talk apples to apples. And by the way, if you follow up on somebody, hey, when are you guys going to be deciding on the property? They say, hey, I'll have an answer for you next week, Monday. It's let's say it's Wednesday. Hey, no problem. If I don't hear back from you Monday, can I catch up with you on Tuesday? Yeah, sure. That's fine. Always ask to get back with people. Like, hey, you asked me to get back with you versus you saying, hey, where you at? Hey, where you at? Hey, where you at? Hey, do you mind if I get back with you? Sure. You email them on Monday at 4:00 or Tuesday at 8 a.m. Hey, John, really quick, wanted to get back with you. Where were you guys at on that proposal? Did you guys make a decision? 2 options, right? Yes, you got it. Fantastic. Not here to spend time on that, right? Number 2, actually, we went with a different vendor. Okay, cool. Here's what you email back. Hey, John, appreciate that. Hey, really quick, did you guys sign the proposal just yet with the other company? If not, I'd love to sharpen the pencil and see if we can still earn the business. Me and my company, we're hungry for it. We'd love to do a good job. And by the way, when you reached out to me 6 weeks ago, it was because you weren't happy with what was going on with the current property and the service you were getting. I'd love to solve that problem. I think we can do a better job than anybody. Could you give me a call sometime today and let's talk? You will salvage half, if not 7 out of 10 of your proposals and keep the conversation alive. This is money. This is money. I'm telling you, this is $63,000 sitting in my lap. Don't tell me this doesn't work. What happens is you get John on the phone. Hey, John, you got that other company's proposal? I sure do. Hey, you got a quick 20 minutes here. Let's chisel this out together. Let's sharpen the pencil together. Let's go line by line. What the heck are you getting versus what I'm proposing? And so you start realizing this is exactly what I'm trying to get to. The guy was bidding 25 weeks instead of 29. Hey, we can do 25 weeks. We were going to start the 3rd week of April. Instead, let's start May 1st. And then pick your season, pick your play. Now, by the way, you might say, hey, dude, honestly, John, it's a pretty early spring. I don't know how they're going to Halloween with this. When are they stopping mowing? Oh, they stopped mowing October 1st. Hey, we could stop mowing October 1st too, but to be honest with you, the grass still grows pretty well through October. I'd be willing to meet you halfway. Let's do 3 cuts out of 4. We'll save that 3rd week where we don't mow, i.e. that's a quip week, by the way. Good week to take off. Hey, we'll get 3 out of 4 weeks. You got to come up a little bit on that because if not, the grass is going to be 6 inches tall. And then through winter, it's going to fold over. You're going to have snow mold. You're going to have an ugly lawn in the spring. It's going to cost you more money to renovate and to fix that than it would to just make sure that you're maintaining the lawn through the rest of October. John, I want to make sure the property looks good. I'm telling you, this is not a place to cut corners. Okay, Brian, that's fine. Let's go. You were bidding 29 weeks. He was bidding 25. Let's do 27. And that's fine. I'm willing to give you a couple more $100 there, Brian. So you just took your account, yes, from 23.5, you took it down to 22.9, but you're still in the conversation, right? You're still there. You're still in the game. You're still in the lineup. By the way, what's the other guy doing? Nothing to secure the bag. You're going to town. You're going to war for this thing, okay? You're fighting for your family's future. You're fighting for your guys to keep them employed. Keep them working and making them money and you making money. And people think that business just comes to you. What are you talking about? It's a war out there. You think Brian's Law Maintenance is just locking down stupid Instagram and social media brand deals or getting $60,000 accounts because he's nice or kind or smiles or says, bless your heart? That's not how it is. It is, I'm not saying you got to be a killer or you got to be unethical either. But you do have to fight in business. You do have to be aggressive. You do have to learn that you are in sales. You are having conversations and you cannot let this conversation die on the vine. Okay? You're still in the game. Then you go down line item by line item. Hey, the other guy's doing a glyphosate all over the place. What the hell is that about? Hey, I don't know about you, man, but if you got kids, I got kids. You don't want them anywhere around that. And I don't think you want your clients around that stuff either. Okay? There's a time and a place for Roundup. But hey, look, if you want us to kind of work down the pruning or the weed pulling price, here's what I can do. Honestly, I don't want to touch it between April, May, June, and July. That's when the weeds are going to be the most prevalent. But we could probably shave it from 2 hours down to 1 hour, down to no hours, maybe in October. So we got this contract bid for 2 hours a month times 6 months. That's 12 hours. Why don't we chisel that down to 9? Can we compromise halfway there? Your other guy was bidding for 300. I'm bidding it for 9. Let's keep it at about 600. I'll give you 8 total weeding hours. And if we need more, maybe we'll make a judgment call and you can do a little quote unquote change order, or we can just do a separate invoice, or we can add that to the budget later. Here's a quick tip. I've never had anybody say, I want you to weed less. I've never had that in 17 years, I've never had anybody say, we want you to weed the property less. Now I've backed it out of the contract, where we're front heavy. And in the fall I go, hey, John, just so you know, we talked about this in the spring. The weeds are a little bit crazier. We've got some crazy rain. It's been really hot. The crabgrass is growing like wild. Would you like us to take care of some of the weeds? It's for an extra $150, we can get this all taken care of. $300, we can get it all taken care of. Yeah. Just go ahead. Yeah. Just go ahead. Nobody's ever going to tell you no on the weeding. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, man. I'm telling you guys, this is like what we're doing to keep these contracts alive. Mulch installation. Dude, I was dealing with one just the other day, and part of the other 2-part conversation for the other company that has 2 sites. And they're like, the other guy's at $70 a yard. I said, $70 a yard installed. I said, that's impossible. I said, it's literally impossible. I said, unless the guy's literally got his own wood chipper on his own farm, and he's put his own time into it, and he's spray painting it with God knows what dye. I said, John, this is impossible. I'm going to show you my cards. That's my line again. I'm going to show you my cards. We literally buy it for $35 a yard. I said, industry standards, you take your landscape material costs 2.5x plus labor. I said, I'm already at $100, $125 a yard. I said, honestly, $125 a yard installed, I should be at $145, $165. Excuse me. I said, there's no way. I said, even if he's using shredded mulch or like birch or some hardwood mulch that you get for $26, $28 a yard, there's no way he's putting it down for $70 a yard. In fact, John, look, you're dealing with humans. You like to laugh. Everybody likes to laugh. I know people think it's weird, but humor is a great selling point and selling tactic and tip. And if you can say, hey, John, really quick, can I just level with you? I'm going to show you my cards here. I don't know how he's getting that number. I'm 2.5x plus material costs for material costs plus labor. I'm at $125 a yard. I should be at $165 a yard installed. Hey, do me a solid. Even if you guys don't go with us, can you give me the number of that guy? That way I can sub out the 250 yards of mulch I have to move this spring. I would be more than happy to sub it out to that guy for $70 a yard. Ha, ha, ha. It's your psychopathic laugh. And that guy will laugh. Any dude will go, yeah, man, I don't know where he's coming with the number either, man. I like the number, but yeah, I don't, it did seem a little low to me, but, here's what, and then you guys, John, let me pause really quick. I'm not here to sell you or convince you, but here's what we do. We do a double shredded premium brown mulch installation. It's a 2-inch thick layer of all mulch surfaces. Now, if there's some areas that we don't want to mulch, we can probably come down on that mulch price. I get that. It's just less yards installed. By the way, that's totally fine with me. I'm sure after the guys are done moving 10 to 20 yards, they're happy. They can go home for the day. They'd rather move 20 than 30. Okay, John? So it's no money off of our plate or any food out of our mouths. No big deal. But what I will say, John, it's not apples to apples. By the way, John, I toured the property when I put this bid together. The mulch they used last time, it's definitely the install mulch that they use for a new landscaping job, just to throw something down when they installed the property 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago. You guys have not even had premium colored mulch in there. John, for all of our commercial sites, we throw down premium double shredded brown. 90% of our commercial sites and HOAs do that. We have 1 or 2 that take black mulch. By the way, John, we don't do any red mulch. Now, some of you guys would probably do red mulch, but we do not do any red mulch. It's not even a conversation. I wouldn't even take the client on. If you want red mulch, you go do red mulch. Okay. But my point is, we're keeping the conversation going. And I say, hey, John, a premium brown mulch for your commercial site would just pop. It would look so nice. When the clients are coming in, your boss is coming in, and when you're coming in, all of you guys are going to go, wow, that bed looks beautiful. John, that's what I want to do for you guys. Okay. So when somebody comes in at $70 a yard or $80 a yard or $90, you just tell them there is no way they can do that. John, the reason they're giving that number is because they overcharge you somewhere else. Let's go to your fertilizer price. We go down to fertilizer price. Let's say for $85 to $150 an acre for an acre of turf fert, pick your number. You guys figure out your rates, figure out where you're at. And you notice that he's way overcharging on the fert, and that's how he's making it up on the mulch. Hey, John, I don't know where he's coming up with this number. We had you at, 7 applications at, $185 or whatever, okay? And he's got you for $350 an application for 8 applications. What the hell you need 8 applications for? I mean, that's insane. You don't need that, John. And it was, $3,200 and you came in at, $1,600. Well, your mulch price was $1,500 over his, but his fert price is $1,500 over yours. But he's just going to go, no, mulch, God forbid he does go through the line items. And he goes, why is your mulch double? And you go, wait a minute, like his fert price is double. But he got stuck at mulch and he just said, screw it. I got to go get my Jimmy John's that just came in for my corporate lunch so I can snake eat. Okay. So really quick, we're trying to keep ourselves in the game, break things down. If you're having this conversation, you can say, hey, instead of doing 7 applications, start high and give some back. There's people all day long that this is how I have to have conversations with. We start high and we give a little back. They think they got a deal. And what did I do? I secured the job. You have to do that. That's just sales 101. Start high, give a little back. They think they win. Really, you win. Okay. That's okay. So it's okay to say, hey, we start with 7 fertilizer applications on this proposal. John, if you only want 5, I'm willing to shave a few off. I said, you're going to get better coverage. The lawn's going to look better, better control of the property. I would encourage you to go with 7, but if you guys want to meet, halfway at 5, halfway, by the way, is 3, but if you guys want to meet halfway at 5, I'm willing to do that for you. He says, sure, awesome, fantastic. Let's do 5. And if it's $300 an app, or whatever, or $185 an app, I said, that's $350 more, $360, $370. It's $375 that you get to shave off of your account. So you were at $23.5. The other guy was at, $21.5 or $22.5, whatever it said. We've been able to do the same amount of work, or I should say, less work for less price, but we're doing the same amount of work for the same price. If that makes sense. Like, yes, we're giving up a little bit and our price is going down a little bit, but we're doing less work along the way. It's still lateral. It's still, whether it's a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-2 to a 3-to-3, it's not like you're putting in 1 and getting 1.5x work. It's not like you're getting paid $5 for, like it's like an exchange rate or something. Okay. It's still equal. It's still 5 equals 5. It's not 5 equals 6.5. And you're like, man, now I'm doing more work for less money. We don't do that. People, I answer the question all the time. Hey man, do you prefer commercial work or residential work? Which one's more profitable? The way you bid it is how it's profitable. I don't understand the disconnect. You should be able to make the same margin on both customers. If not, they're not a good fit for you. I don't care what any guru says. Okay. Similarly, people are like, which kind of accounting philosophy do you practice? Are you cash? Are you accrual? Do you do profit first? How do you handle your bank accounts? And then one person's like, I prefer profit first because I always know that I'm being profitable. Okay, no shade on the profit first, fam. But here's a quick tip. Bid your work correctly, have a calculator, have a budget, and you'll make the same amount of profit whether you have it up front or whether you have it at the end. And I get the shtick and I get the philosophy. And somebody made millions and millions of dollars writing books teaching you this. But it's a very lazy approach to not approach your company with maturity, setting real budgets and having real pricing and having real pen and paper and figuring out how to actually price things. It's a lazy man's approach to being profitable. It's ridiculous. People are like, well, I'm this philosophy or I'm that philosophy. How about you run a business that's profitable and you don't have to worry about changing your philosophy to get on any bandwagon about something that's been around for 3.5 minutes to teach you how to be more profitable? How about you just run business that's always been the same way business has been run since the beginning and dawn of time of trade, let alone capitalism? My gosh, the stuff that people get lost in the weeds about. And you're like, no wonder nobody takes action in life because they're so confused. You're listening to 1,700 different things. And They all sound great. And they're just all fishing lures, man. They're all fishing lures. There's shiny and bait in the water, and nobody gets anything done because you're so freaking confused in life. You want to run a profitable business, factor in profit into your company. Know what you need to charge. The knowing your numbers calculator. It's not there to make a buck. It's there to help you figure out exactly what you're trying to charge and what you need to earn. There's no secrets here. Like, I'm an open book. I can show you my tax returns, my income, our contract, everything we're saying we're doing. And then people want to argue or say like stupid stuff. Like, it's insane. All right. So we're still in the conversation with our boy, John. Okay. Number one, we talked about budget. Number two, we talked about follow-up. Number three, it's apples to apples. This is where people are missing it. What's the budget for the account? Before they sign, if you get the account, dude, fantastic. Great job. Great work. Number two, follow up with that. Don't let them sign until you get the account. And then number three, apples to apples. Make sure that you're bidding similar work. Irrigation, you can plus or minus a couple bucks of wiggle room there. I'm just going off my account here really quick. And then spring and fall cleanups. This is we love spring and fall cleanups. I put this on an Instagram reel. Somebody was asking a question about spring cleanups. We do not take on any commercial site or HOA without a spring cleanup, let alone a fall cleanup. And the reason is I don't know the level of the property. I don't know the shape of the property. Okay. If I go there, the first mow is not me dinging up my lawnmower blades, which cost $130 a set, $30, $20, $30, $10, $20, $30 a blade these days. I am not dinging up my lawnmower blades because you did not have a cleanup, and I'm going to go brush hog all the fallen tree limbs, branches, sticks, rocks, dirt, debris from plows and sidewalks or whatever, city plows, city walks. I'm not doing it. The lawn needs to be pristine. The rocks need to get cleaned up. The sticks, the trees, the branches, all that mess has to get cleaned up before we get on there. So we have a spring cleanup and a fall cleanup. By the way, like the other guy, did he even bid for cleanups? Is he, again, like his weekly mow might be cheaper or the same price. Let's say same price. But he doesn't, he saved, $500 for a spring cleanup and, $975 for a fall cleanup or whatever. And you're like, hey, how come my contract's still $1,500 top heavy compared to his? Well, he didn't do any spring or fall cleanup. He says he just mulches the leaves and the sticks and the branches with the property to save us some money. And I go, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard on planet Earth. So you're just going to start painting your walls. You're not going to prime anything. If you have rust in your car, you're just going to paint over it. You're not going to sand out the rust. If you have a spouse, are you just going to start making love? Or is there the preamble first? It's called foreplay. That's the stupidest crap I've ever heard in my life. And now I'm getting winded here, so I'm getting a little bit more raw. I need another sip of water, aka sip of my Tim Hortons. But here's what I'm trying to say. Hey, John, listen, I understand what you guys are trying to do. You guys want to save some money. I want to save some money. But you called me not because you wanted to save some money. You called me because you're sick and tired of the companies before cutting corners, doing things cheaply, and the place just not looking good. And so you're getting a small revolt and protest, either from the corporate side or the HOA side, to figure out how you want to phrase that. But you say, look, my goal is to make those headaches go away. And the problem is that you have companies that are cutting corners. John, this is like trying to paint a car without getting rid of the rust. This is like painting a wall in your bedroom without priming it first. That's impossible to do. Who's going to take care of the sticks, the trees, the branches? Hey, we had that huge ice storm come through about 6 weeks ago. Remember that? I drove by the property. You guys have tree limbs and sticks and stuff down. You had a hedge that got completely ripped out, ripped over. That's got to get addressed. Who's going to clean all that up? He's going to go, oh, you know what? He goes, I thought that was kind of low. You're right. Like, I say, hey, John, like, we're not here to like make a killing doing cleanups, but I will tell you what, like, we have to make sure the property looks beautiful. It's cleaned up. All the sticks, the logs, the down trees, the trash for you guys with your commercial sites. We have a couple sites by some major roadways. The trash after 4 months next to a fast food place. Come on. What do you think that looks like? You could have a line item for trash pickup. We just include that in their spring and fall cleanup. And of course, like our weekly mow price, we take care of the trash, but that's baked into there. Like it takes 15 minutes to walk the damn site to clean up trash. Hey, John, I want to get this property looking good for you. We have to make room for cleanup. If I'm bidding it for a $300 weekly mow and he's bidding it for $300 weekly mow and he's not picking up the trash and he's not doing a spring or fall cleanup, then I don't know what else to tell you. That doesn't make any sense to me. You go, yeah. You're right. Okay. The spring cleanup price is, $450. The fall cleanup price is double. Okay. $975. Okay. That sounds good. Let's just add that in there. Sorry. I didn't look at that because why would he? That's number D and E on my proposal, but maybe your proposal, it's at the end. He was already, flabbergasted at the mow price, the mulch price, and the weeding price. He never got down to the fert price, the cleanup price, and what you're charging for a flat of flowers versus the other guy. You know what I'm saying? All he saw was top line, you're at 23.5, bottom line, he's at, the other guy's at 21.5. And he's like, well, I lopped the ends. I didn't go with the cheapest. I didn't go with the highest, but I went with the low middle. And here's what I would encourage you to do. Try to always be, if you're not the high end, be the high middle. Okay? Now, if your price was like, hey, no, we can't touch this account for $29,000, then you have to explain that the budget for them has to go up too. That's, another quick tip, another whole conversation for a whole nother time. But we can have it really quick. There's times when you can tell these, the people that you're working with that maybe they just don't know. Like, give them some innocence and give them some grace. They might not know. Like, hey, this is a lot of money. Like fertilizer costs have went up 200% in the last 3 years. We can't be doing it for XYZ. Or, hey, a leaf bagger is $4,500. I can't do your leaf cleanup for $100 or $125. Or just hit this area with some Roundup or some weeding or some grub control or pick your thing. Like the days of like one-off little like hand can crap or little like 1 minute things for 20 and 30s and 50s, folks, you got to stop doing that. Those days are gone. Do the work at the right price or don't do it at all. The in-betweener stuff, you got to cut it out. Like I can't tell you how many examples I can give you of goods and services you're buying today that don't include the extras. Liz and I were dropping like $13,000 on fireplaces for the home. None of them come with remotes. They're all like $75 to $100 each. I know somebody that bought a Tesla Model Y recently, did not come with the 110 charging cable. It's like a $400 a la carte cable. I have another buddy that bought an iPhone 14. It did not come with the power block. Came with the wire, the little white Apple wire, the charging cable, but did not come with the block. Like all these little nuances, companies have to cut the little fluff out. Razor thin margins as it is, they have to cut these little extras out. You need to as well. The days of just hitting something with some Roundup, which I'm not telling you to do, or to just like, hey, we'll throw in an hour of weeding, or hey, we'll tag that little like 300 square feet of turf with some fert really quick for the HOA or for some condo or for some lady that just wants it always done twice. You got to cut that stuff out. You will get bled to death in this economy. Okay. And that's the stuff that you got to stop. And people are like, well, go the extra mile. That's not the same. Doing little stuff that needs to be, have your overhead costs recover and your time and materials, that has to be recovered. I'm not saying when, you show up to a home and some lady's bringing in the groceries who's 60 and you say, hey, do you want us to help really quick? And she goes, no. It's really no big deal. I'll carry the groceries at least to the garage. That way you can shut the garage, get indoors. It's 92 degrees out, honey. You don't need to be bringing in the groceries. Would you? That would be so nice. You see somebody putting a TV into their back of their car. They're trying to move, like some kids going to college. Hey, man, you need quick help with that? No, I'm good. No, dude, I got you, dude. No big deal. Cut the blades, cut the mower, jump it. Like that's going the extra mile stuff. That's being nice. Now, I'm saying like, you don't need to be going into somebody's house and like moving stuff, like that's too far. You know what I mean? All right. I hope this is good stuff. I don't know, man. I put this stuff out there. If I would have learned this stuff 15 years ago, my God, like I guarantee you I've slept on 1 million or 2 easily, dude, of just simple, stupid mistakes. Because I've had customers fall into these black holes all the time. And I'm like, what the heck? Why am I not getting this work? I'm trying to see if I'm going through my other contracts. That was literally one of the conversations. The guy's like, hey, you bid it for 40 yards. He goes, we know that it takes 25 yards. He didn't give me like the total budget of this site. And I said, but I did have a conversation. I literally said all the same stuff I just talked to you guys about. And so I'm on the phone with him. We're sharpening the pencil real time in his office. You can hear. I'm on his work speakerphone thing. And he's like, yeah, the site only takes 25 yards. And I'm like, why bid it for 40? Because I don't really know how much. I did all my measurements, but I bid it high just because I didn't know what it's going to take. But if you know it takes 25 from the last company, I'd be happy to bid it at 25 at my 125 a yard installed. By the way, we do a 10% variance. If it's 10% up, I'm going to charge you for it. If it's 10% less, I will not charge you for it. Let me say that again. We do a 10% variance. If it's 10% up, I would be more than happy. Well, not more than happy, but I will have to charge you for that. So if you have a 25-yard mulch job and it takes 3 extra yards, at $125 a yard, it's $375 more that's going to be tacked onto the bill. Because we haven't done it before, and I can measure all day, but what we don't know is how much total yards is going to take for a new site. Now, when you're bidding 8 yards or 6 yards or 4 yards, who cares? When you're bidding 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 80 yards, you cannot be out 80-yard mulch job, 10%, 8 yards at $125 a yard. That's 8 times 125. That's 2, 8, 12. That's $1,000 more. You cannot be out $1,000. That's, $450 in profit, let alone the $650 in cost. And you can eat the cost, I guess, if you want, for an 80-yard mulch job was at, $10,000. Maybe. I'm not doing that. But what I will say for a new commercial account is, hey, if it does, nobody really says this, but if it takes less, I'd be happy to bring down the price and charge you less. That's just good faith. That's just being a good person. And if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine too. But I would say, hey, if the first time we do it's 25 and I realize it's only been taken 22, you don't have to do that, by the way. You can totally just round up. Hey, it should be plus or minus $2,500. And you're like, you know what? And by the way, like very few people give back the farm. Okay, very few people give back to the house because the house always takes you. Sometimes, that's just real talk, man. Sometimes the universe, like, you can't just be giving it all away. You know what I'm saying? It's okay sometimes to keep the house. God forbid it actually goes your way one day, right? But if that contract I'm looking at, this was 11,540. We shaved it by 15 yards at 125. What is that, like $1,625 or something like that? Or $2,125, maybe $2,100. These numbers are like all fresh in my mind. But that saved it $2,100 and brought the contract from 11,500 down to like 8,400 or whatever, or 9,500. If I would have just been like, no, dude, we're gonna do 40 yards, and the other guy didn't say how many yards he's putting down, but his price is at 10,000, and I'm at 11,500. Well, of course I'm more expensive, but I'm offering 35% more mulch. If it doesn't need it, then I'm not going to charge. Give me a shot. Give me a chance. And by the way, here's going to wrap it up. Here's the point. The reason you called me is because you have a problem. The last guy, fill in the problem. Me, the new guy, solve the problem. It's not the price. It's not the contract. It's not really even the scope of work, although it is. We got to make sure that we're within budget. But people will spend 10, 20, 30% more, 5% more on your proposal and your contract if you solve their problems. Now, if you charge them more or the same amount and you don't solve their problems and you suck, that's on you. You're a bad business owner. I can't fix that, okay? Doesn't matter how many podcasts you listen to. Well, maybe you listen to a bunch of podcasts, maybe you'll get that fixed. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but if you charge 20% more and sell them the farm and then you don't deliver, like, bro, that's on you. Like, we have new accounts all the time, and it's like, dude, don't mess this up. Everybody, all hands on deck, Lawn of the Month Club, make it look nice. Everybody take extra care, extra caution. By the way, same effort goes into our current clients because we want to keep them happy too. But when we get new clients, like a new snow account, we normally start with them first so they know that we're like on it. And these are little tips to like jiggle the you-know-what. This is how you keep people happy, okay? By the way, all on the way, don't forget once in a while, like new clients, hey, check in after a month. Hey, how's things going? Anything we're missing? Anything different? Anything plus or minus? After a month, take in some bagels, take in some donuts, take in some coffee, buy them some pizzas. Like, what's $150 in pizzas? People are like, $150? Excuse me, in pizzas, go get like 8 Jets pizzas. I would never. And I'm like, the account is $12,000. It's $8,000 of lawn of salt and snow. That's $21,000 a year. The average account you'll have for 7 years, that's $140,000. And you're like, yeah, $150 worth of pizzas is too much. Oh, Fullerton, easy for you to say. You're multi-millionaire with all your YouTube millions. It's like, folks, I'm telling you the stuff that works. This is what is helping us grow our lawn care company. And we don't even have a multi-million-dollar company. This is how I know I could take my company to $1 million by sneezing. And I'm not just saying that. We grew 100 last year. We're already up 80 this year. Like, it's not even, we're not even trying. I've just started trying. I've been growing the social media thing for 5 years, and I'm building my house and popping out babies to the wife. She can't keep her hands off me. It's ridiculous. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm telling you, like, this stuff works. This is what we're doing. This is brass tacks. This is an X and O's. Who else is sharing this kind of info on social? Nobody. Nobody's talking numbers. Nobody's talking business like this. It's ridiculous. All right. That's what I got for you guys in today's show. Always a cheerful spirit here, but any which way. I just get so intense. I want you guys to win. Nobody shared this stuff with me. It's insane to me that you can get this stuff for free on a podcast. Praise the Lord. And I know there's a lot of other great friends of mine that are putting out good content. No shade. You guys know what I'm saying. But it's just like, this stuff is for free. It's for free. Listen to this episode 50 more times until you can say verbatim what I said. Not that I'm a guru or I'm great. I'm just saying, like, until this becomes second nature, your rebuttals, your knee-jerk reaction. I should wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, why is your price different than my price? And you go, well, John, really quick, let's talk about apples to apples. Let's make sure that we're on the same page. Hey, I'm willing to go to bat for you. Hey, I want to solve your, like, if I can't wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you start repeating these same nuances or put them in your own words back to me, then you don't have it yet. And it's like the Karate Kid, man. Like, you got to be able to, like, punch, slap, kick, punch, slap, kick, punch, slap, kick, whatever. And, like, until that becomes second nature at you, until your enemy comes at you and you're like, subconsciously you can take this stuff out, right? Like, you have to get it ingrained into your DNA, your repertoire. And then people are like, Fullerton, you really stop at a stoplight and repeat your goal cards out loud or have, like, these verbal affirmations? Yep, sure do. The bank account's been swelling ever since I started doing that. Maybe there's some tips there. All right. Anyway, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new podcast show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Actually, if you guys can leave a 5-star rating, if you think it's worth 5-star, I don't want to, like, lead with that. Kind of sounds kind of dumb, but anyway, if you guys think the show is great, hit a 5-star. If you guys don't hit a 5-star. If you guys like it, leave me some couple sentences and a well-worded review. I think is what Keith Kalfa says. And if you don't like it, no big deal, man. Tons of great podcasts out there. Literally, there's 2-3 dozen other great lawn care podcasts. If you don't like mine, dude, go listen to somebody's. Please learn. Please grow. I care about you enough to tell you. If you don't like me, dude, and I know I'm a jerk, and I know I'm a butthead half the time, but if you don't like me, go find somebody you like. Hook your caboose to them. You get what you get. So don't blow a fit, whatever that means. But just keep learning, keep studying, keep growing. This right here, I'm trying to figure out how to help you guys with the black holes that are in your commercial contracts and your commercial bidding process. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Ballard Innovative Products is a full line of gear for the lawn and landscape professional, weekend warrior, or home and garden enthusiast. From mower gear, safety gear, trailer racks, equipment securement, equipment servicing tools, chute blockers, snow removal tools, and much more to make you efficient, effective, safe, and profitable in the field. Be sure to check out the Ballard-Inc.com website to help dominate and elevate your business this season. With over 23 years selling accessories and 30 years in the business, we're sure we've got something you can't live without. And new to 2023, we have the Hybrid Gold Blades. These are the most versatile, longest lasting blades on the market. Check Ballard-Inc.com often as there's new gear being added all the time. Don't forget to use Brian's 10 to save 10%. Stay safe and keep grinding. Ballard. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.